Okay, right now we're connected as the root user to the Linux machine. I just want us to do something very important. These are tasks that we normally do on a daily basis in the real world, okay? We just brush through the export data pump and import data pump utilities for the last time, okay? And I'm going to connect as my local user, which is TA Gaga. All right, and I expect you all have your own user accounts. Okay, if you don't have a user account and a database that corresponds to your user account, I advise you to do that so you can practice these courses on your own. Okay, remember, if you have a Windows machine or a Windows computer, these things can also be done. Okay, it's very important. So I'm going to look at the space disk I have, df-h. Now, when I make df minus h, it gives me the sizes of the disks available on the computer. But if I say df minus, let me just clear this stuff out. Okay, what I'm going to do is to make this a bit smaller so it shows properly on the screen. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me clear this stuff here. When you log into your computer, normally you log into your home directory. Everybody has a home directory, okay? And this is my directory. My directory is /u02 home t okay? And if I want to find out how much space I have on that disk, I'm going to say df minus h, and I'm going to do this stuff here, and it tells me I have 245 gigabytes of space, but I've used only 67, so I have 167 gigabytes, okay? So I can comfortably make a directory here, okay? Because this directory I'm going to make is going to be useful, for the data pump utility, all right? To use the data pump utility, export or import, you have to interact with the operating system, and the only way you can do that is to define a directory, okay? So right now I'm going to create a directory under my home. I'm going to call it export, exp. All right, so when I connect to my database, now let me see my environment. See, I've got my Oracle seed as TA Gaga. All right, I've got my Oracle home. Okay, and all of that stuff. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect to my database here now, which is called TA Gaga. I'm the administrator of my database. You should be administrator of your database too. All right, so I'm not connected to TA Gaga. And I just created a directory. Okay. So I'm going to map that directory that was created on the Linux machine to a directory object in the database. Okay. So I'm going to say create or replace. Now, when you say replace, it means that if you already defined the directory before, it's going to replace it with a new path that you put. So I'm going to just call it export xdir. You could call it anything you want, okay? Just make it sound professional. As, and I'm going to put that path. Remember, if I go backwards, or did I clear it? Okay, it's cleared. So I'm going to put that path u02 home export, okay? So I'm saying create or replace Oh, I made a mistake there, so I have to do that again. See, it has an error. Create or replace what directory, export there as. So what this command is doing, the command does not create the directory on Linux for me. What it simply does is to map it. It assumes that the directory is created. Now, if you have not created, if this directory does not exist, it will not give you an error. But when you try to use it later, you will discover that it is not working. Okay, because the directory does not exist. Okay, so it's important to know these things, for instance. And again, remember that the directory also, you must have permissions to that directory. If you try to create a directory, in a place where you don't have permissions, you can tell somebody with another privilege or in another group to create a directory for you, and eventually you might not be able to access that directory if you don't have the permission. So always take note of this. Every directory on Linux, and on well-configured Windows machines have what we call permissions. So you have to always ensure you have permissions to write to that directory. Okay? So I'm going to accept. So right now, we have defined a directory called XD, right? And the common types of export you will do in the real world, you can export, 1 minute, let me get a notepad out there. Let me put the format font. You can, okay, this is. All right. You can have a full export. At times they might tell you to migrate a database using a simple export. Okay. You might want to copy the database. Okay, well, here we are. So normally you can have a full export, which you would do normally. A full export will copy all the objects within the database. You can also have a schema export with your data pump. You can have table, exports. And they could tell you, for instance, to copy a schema from a database, to another database. Or they could tell you to export a schema before they do what we call a change. A major change is a procedure that will change many of the definitions in the schema. And in case something goes wrong, they might want to go back to the way it was before they started the change. So this is a guarantee that they can go back to that point. It's at times it's used as an alternative to Ardman, but it's not actually an alternative. Okay. One thing about exports and exports, they don't have the possibility of restoring up to a point in time like Ardman does. Okay, so you could also be asked to export tables. For one table, copied from one schema to another schema. They could ask you to change the name of the table, copy it into another name, and so forth and so forth. Okay. Okay. Another option here, you could be asked to just save the skeletal structure, the metadata. Okay, save the metadata of the database, or the schema, or the table, and all that kind of. These are very, very common uses. And there are many other options. Remember also with export data pump, you can also transport table spaces. What happens in this case is that when you do the export, it simply export metadata concerning the table spaces. Okay, and you now copy the table spaces physically to another location and simply plug them into another, another database. And you do this with the import data from utility, which ensures that the process goes well. Okay, this is an advanced option, and we'll talk about it definitely in a more advanced setting. Okay, but it's rarely used, but very important. Okay, it reduces the downtime for migrating objects within databases. Okay, so without wasting time, I'm gonna try out something here. If I connect to my database, and let me see the kind of schemas I have here. What kind of tables do I have? Select. Okay. Select username from VBA users. All right. I'm just trying to see whether I have any. Okay, I can see I don't have any user-defined objects. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a user called test1. All right. And in this user, I'm going to import. I'm going to create certain objects. All right. Remember, we have some sample script somewhere. All right, and you can always use that, to do all your jobs here. So I'm going to quickly create a user called test user. All right, I'm going to say, first of all, I'll create a dedicated table space for it. Whenever you create users, always remember, you always ask them whether they want it to be a dedicated application user, whether you want to create a table space for that user. So without wasting time, I'm just going to create a table space called create table space let's say dev user. Okay, that data file size 100 megabytes, auto extend on. Okay, max size unlimited. What this means that I'm creating a table space that's going to start off as 100 megabytes, and the table space can auto extend, to a max size of that's about 31 gigabytes, which is the max size of a normal table space. Okay, so that's what I'm doing here. Now I'm going to create a user called dev user. All right, create user dev user, identified. I'll give the password of dev user, and I'm going to say default table space. Remember, try always not to create default table space. All right, and I'm going to say quota on limited on. So that's where we are here. I made something blundered. Oh, sorry, I missed out the by here, identified by. Okay. All right. So All right, so here we are. So I need to get my sample script. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to connect to the website, dbaelearner.com. You can get your sample script here. And I'm going to add some more time. Okay, so I'm going to documents. Another document, I see connectivity. Let me see what they have there. Okay, that's just connectivity. I'm going to go to week 1. Okay, and general, okay, general documents for students, all right? Oh, that's missing there, is it? So I'll get that later. Let me just get it on my computer. I thought I loaded that stuff. Okay. So you go straight to open this stuff here. Sample scripts, all right? Okay, so I have so right now I'm going to connect as the new user I created. Remember what the name is? Dev user. Okay, connect. You don't need to log out. When you are logged in already, you can just change user by just putting a con. Oh, sorry. I created a user, but you know what I did? I did not give it privileges, okay? So the user exists, but he doesn't have any rights. So I'm going to give him some rights here. I'm going to just give him maximum rights. Okay, grant DBA to, okay? So I don't have to do too much writing, okay? So I'm going to say exit, clear the screen again. Con. Okay, it's connected now as dev user. And I'm going to create the objects. I'm under the general scripts for students. I'm going to upload this file so you can always have them. You don't have to. And I'm going to create this user here. Okay. So under dev user, if I select object name from user objects, I should see the object that was created. See, Like the department, employees, okay? These are very simple schemas. They come with the Oracle software anyway. When you install Oracle, normally you have this employee and department, script as sample scripts. So you can start off there and learn some things. All right. So if I let us see the content, select all from. Okay. Show user will tell me who I am. So I can see I have two tables and the tables are populated. All right. So what I want to do now, I told you have different options for export import. Okay. I just want to show you probably I should export the schema called dev user. All right. Now there are two ways. Now if I use dev user, it becomes very easy because I can just say export data pop. Okay. I can just say okay. Okay, dump file is equal to dev user.dmp. Let me clear this stuff here. I'll start off first by using the export data pump, and I'll use the schemas is equal to what do you call it, dev user, all right? Dump file is equal to dev user.dmp, all right? And log file, that's the log file there, okay? Now, there's something I did that is not correct here. You notice I did not put the name of the directory.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see how it's going to behave, because at times you have what we call default directories. See, but you're not advised to use them. So you can see it has exported the objects correctly, all right, the right way. But you can see everything was exported to another location. Now let us see what this is defined in my computer. You notice that it was exported to a directory called U02 app Oracle admin tagaga vdump,
Yes.
which is a default directory that is created by itself when you create database. But remember, that is not correct. You must define your directory as a database administrator and do the right thing. I got away with this simply because there is space, and all that kind of stuff. You might not have the space. You might not have the permission to write there. So always remember to do the calculation first. Now, I'm going to tell you the first steps, okay? Before you do an export, okay? Remember first of all to check for check the size of the export, okay? And check available space on file system. Now, how do you check the size of an export? Like if, for instance, this export was to be 1 terabyte, how would I know? There's an option I would have used. Look at it here. They call it estimate only. When you say estimate only, it only estimate the size of the export. This is very important. This is very important because you can start a very big export that will take you hours, and at the end of the day, there is no space because it's too big. So what it's going to do is to just give me a summary of how big my export is going to be. Remember this parameter, estimate only is equal to yes. So it does not do an export, it only just gives you a report, a summary. And look at what it's telling me. Say my export is going to be 128 kilobytes, okay, which is very, very little. But there are cases where you could have up to 200 gigabytes, 500 gigabytes. I've seen those cases in real life scenarios, okay? So based on that size, I'll now have to check for a correct file system that can accommodate that, the size of the export. And if I don't have, I have to talk with the system administrators to assign some space for me or to expand an existing space. Now, if I go into the database and I say select all from DBA directory. Now, DBA directory is a view that will show you all the directories that are defined in the database. Sorry, directories. Now, where did we export to?
Just what we exported just now was in before the DDoM.
Yeah, let us see it properly. When we exported to this place here.
Yes.
Okay, so let us see what it is called, because it was created by default. Remember, we defined one. This is the one we defined. Okay, let us see the other one where it comes from. It's this one. So this is the default. So you don't specify this default, but you must specify, you must be in control of things. You're not advised to use that kind of method. So we're going to go back to our own method, our own directory which we defined, which was export there, okay? Now there are two ways to kind of define your export there, okay? I can say directory is equal to okay, this one method. Okay, so you export the data, you export the index statistics, you export the user, you export everything about that schema is exported. So you can see now it has been created in the directory I defined, I created and defined, okay? Now, I want to show you another way you can define a directory. You could just do this method. See what I did? I mentioned the name of the directory and I put two dots. So I can, using this method, I can use multiple directories. I can export to multiple directories if I wanted. I could split the file into different bits and define multiple directories that these things can be copied to. It's very interesting. Now notice I had an error. You know why I had this error? Because the file I mentioned exists already. So I have to, if I really want to cancel the file, I have to force it by putting a parameter called reuse dump file. Now let me say export pump help equal to yes. And I'll look for something called, you see this parameter here? The default for your reuse underscore dump files is no. That's why it didn't work for me. So I'm going to change that to yes, so that it's going to write over that file that we've already used. Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
So now it's going. These are real life situations you have, okay? You have a database now, for instance, that is not in archive log mode, and you want to just do an export every night, okay? You can just run this export, but if the file already exists, you might want to just put the reuse so that you don't your export doesn't go into error, okay? Now, I've demonstrated how. Now, if your export is very, very large export, for instance, that has lots of gigabytes, and you have a very powerful computer with lots of CPU and lots of memory, there's a way we can make the export faster, and we can use the parallel option. Okay, the parallel option. Okay, 1 minute here. So what happens when you want to make your exports very fast? Okay, or I should have left that parameter. Let me just leave reuse. You use what they call the parallel parameter. Okay. This one, I always advise people to be careful when they use them. Use them particularly for computers that are very powerful with lots of CPU. And if it's a production database, try to use this in periods where your database is less busy, okay, because it takes a lot of resources. If it's going to be a long export, it's better done off hours because it consumes a lot of resources from the computer. Now I'm going to say, for instance, 4, parallel 4. All right. Now, you do not use this unless I actually change the naming of the dump file, okay, to allow for multiple names. All right. Now, this sign here with U represents a number that will be assigned automatically by the export data pub utility. It goes from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on the number, of the files that will be generated. All right. And we're going to see from this example. I'm going to run this command. So have you noticed now? Have you noticed something interesting?
Yeah.
That 4 files were generated. Okay. And it went with the naming convention 01, 02, 03, 04. That's the use of that parameter. If I didn't put that parameter there, there's no way it can do an export. Let us say U. I don't put the dollar. The percentage. Let's see how it behaves. So that is a variable. See, that's what we call a variable that is used by the export data pump itself. Now, these things I'm telling you are very important. Remember them as you go into the real world. Okay. Now you notice that you just did only one file because I didn't put the dollar sign. So it's very important you know this thing. So that is a way to improve the performance. Now, for instance, now the other variables that you can also use. You could also say, let me just say, export data pump help is equal to yes. I want to. We could break the DOM files. For instance, now if the DOM files are going to be very very big, we can set the size, okay, of each file size. Look at it for instance now. Even with your parallel on or without the parallel or with the parallel, I could set the file size, okay, for instance to 10. Okay, I don't know whether that's too small. So normally what we do here is to ensure that each file does not go beyond 10 bytes. Okay, notice that this is in bytes.
Yeah.
And 10 bytes is really small. Eh? So let us see the behavior of this if I do that.
Close parallel.
Yes.
Parallel for.
Yeah, you can.
Bytes.
Then again, it will also.
Yeah.
So it's going to have even lots more.
Faster,
yes, lots more. But like I told you, don't joke with this kind of stuff except you have a good reason to do it. Eh? Yes, you try to say that the file size is too small. I thought of that. And actually, our database is so small. Okay, you know what? Let me just do that for a bigger. If I say 1000, 1000 that's kilobytes, okay? So I just say 50,000, okay? That's about 40 something kilobytes, okay? But actually, it's not going to work here much because I think our database, the schema is quite small. Okay. You use this when you have extremely big, you know, object like to export. And you notice it has to take some time to calculate the size and all that kind of stuff. While that goes on, okay, let me duplicate the schema. No. So I can get another one done. Now you notice here, you look at the list. Huh? Isn't it funny? Yeah, lots of them because it ensures that each file, yes. And that's why it took time because he has to calculate, you know. Yes. So without wasting time, now they tell you that look, you have created a user, all right, and you've done the export of the schema. Now they want you to create an identical schema like the one you just exported. Okay, it's very simple. You just simply use the import. And I'm going to say remap. Okay. Remap underscore schema is equal to, now you're going to mention the original schema and put a 2 dots and the new schema. Okay. I'm going to call it dev user 2. Okay. So we're going to create another user called dev user 2. It's going to be exactly like the original schema, and it's even going to have the same password. Now this is a very, very common thing they ask in the real world. All right. The developers might want to test something, might want to do something, and they just do it. So okay. So if you look at from the log here, you could see here that it's importing into a new user called dev user 2. Okay. So I can connect to a new user called dev user 2. Connect. Now what do you think will be the password? No. Dev user. Only thing that changes is the user, is the name of user. You have to change it yourself. So it remains dev user. Now I'm going to connect to dev user 2 and password dev user. See that?
Yeah. That means when you created, you didn't specify the password.
No. There's no way to specify a password. Okay. And you will notice that the default table space will be the same as that of them. So if you want to be in control, what you can do is to first of all create the user manually in a table space apart. Then now import, then now do the remap schema to that user. Okay? And I'm going to show you how you can extract an SQL statement of a user. You know how you do that? Let's go. I'm going to say, now I'm doing the import. And I'm going to, let me just say underscore SQL. I'll say remap schema equal to, let me just leave it the way it was, dev user 3. But I'm going to add another parameter here called SQL file. Now when you put SQL file, it does not actually import anything. All it just simply does is to create an SQL file describing what it would have done for you. The SQL file will only just generate the code of all that it will do for you if you were to import using the option that is specified right now. So I do this here, and I put the password. So it's not really important, it's only generating a file, and that file, we're going to see the file. The file with, now there's a problem here, I did not specify the export directory for the file. So I have to go and look for the file, and I know it's going to be dumped in that, most probably in the original, the default directory.
This one we're doing is just to consider the create statement.
So right now that's we finished the import. Now let me look for that file. And I told you we did not define it. So ls. So you can see it's not in the default directory like I told you. So we have to go. And you know what we can just simply do is to redo that export again. So I will do things the right way. I want it to be to appear here. All right. All right, here we go. So this is the file here. So this simple, I can connect this first SQL statements here. Okay. I can collect it here. Look at it. All this is about defining the user. All right, hold on there. Let me do the right thing. I start from the top. This is exactly what it does when you tell it to import. You first of all create the user, okay? And when it creates the user, it creates it exactly the way the other one is, okay? So what I'm doing is copying this whole stuff here. All right. Okay, so I'm creating a new user called dev. Now I'm going to change the default table space to dev user 3. All right. Author is okay. So dev user 3 is going to be is what? Is default table space. Now notice I granted DBA to dev user 3. So normally in reality he already has permission to write on any table space anyhow. But I just want to do this as an example for you to see how to extract the DDL and DML from import statements. So right now I'm going to create a user called dev user 3. Oh, why did it fail? Let me see. Okay, it says that the table space dev user 3 does not exist. It never goes wrong. We are the ones that always go wrong. Okay, so I'll just okay, create table space data file 100 megabytes. Oh, sorry, that's right. I see you're getting there. Okay, so auto extend on next before you jack me up. Okay, back size unlimited. Okay, all right. So we have the table space now created, so it shouldn't give me error anymore. All right. Okay. So I can just simply import to tray now. So right now the user already exists. You see already it tells me here that the user exists, okay? So there are lots of many other options. If you look at export data pump, help equal to yes. You see lots of them. You can compress your file. Okay, compress. It makes it much smaller if you have space problem. But remember, the price to pay is to use more resources, to compress the big files. Very important. You could see a file that normally would be around 20 gigabytes can go down to maybe 4 gigabytes because you put on that parameter. Now, remember also, if you don't want to export data, you just want to export just the metadata, okay? Let me just say, for instance, full. Let me remove all this stuff here. Full equal to, yes, okay. Full meta data dot dmp log file equal to full metadata dot log, okay. Then I'll say content. Now listen to this word content. Okay. Equals to meta data underscore only, all right? Now this specifies directory there. Directory is equal to export there. Okay. Now this database, this export is going on now. If I wanted to cancel it, how will I do? Control C, and I'll put kill. We actually want to say kill, and I'll put yes. To kill it. Yes, to kill the export. You cannot just kill an export anyhow. You have to do tidy work. You have to connect. Another way to do that is to open another terminal and connect to the job. For instance, sorry, I'm trying to be fast, but okay. TEGH. So I'm already to a guy, alright? And I say export data pump, attach. I'm attaching to the name of because the export don't generate normally a name for the export that is in course. I'm going to show you how to do that manually. So I will attach myself to it, to the job that is running, but it has already finished. Because normally when I do this command like this, I get attached. You see something like this will come out, export. Then I have the option now to kill. I'll show you again. Just let it finish and because at times you started off a job and you have to kill it to start it again. Maybe something happened along the way and you just have to kill it. take some time because he has to do a lot of cleaning up and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to demonstrate again the kill. Now I'm going to remove the metadata stuff here. Okay. So that it's going to be a bit longer. And I'm going to add compress equals to all. Oh, okay, sorry. Compression, I think. Compression, okay. All right. Now, as the export is going, notice that he has generated a file here.
It's only the log file you added to the compression.
Yes. Notice that you have a name of the export was generated automatically by the export. So I'm going to try to kill that one. I will attach to that name. Okay, you see it's executing. Okay, this is the export that is in course. It will tell you where it's going and everything. So I'm going to kill it. So it asks, are you sure? Yes. Okay, now if I go back to the other window, you see very soon this one will terminate. You notice? Stopped.
Yeah.
Because I've killed it.
That's the recording.
Okay. So that's very important. That's another option. And again, I'm going to show you something again. Remember, you can do some neat work. You can export data from help, go to yes. You know, you can name the file if you want. You can name the job. Okay, let me show you. You can call it job name, I think. Hold on, let me check this out. Job name, okay? You can put the name of the job. Okay? If you put the name of the job, it will be according to the way you want it. For instance, I say job name is equal to my full export, okay? And I go on. You notice here, you notice that it's now my full export that is here. No more generated by the export data pump. And I can kill it by just connecting to it, attached to it, and I'll say kill. He asks, are you sure? Do you know what you're doing? So normally this should terminate. Okay, see it? But abort. Now, I've shown you how to use the kill. I want to show you how to use what they call the parameter file. If you want to be very tidy. Now all these parameters we've used so far, we can just simply put them into a directory. Export. I'm going to create a file, a parameter file called x full under dot par. You can call it dot text, anything you want, but then I'm going to insert those variables inside, okay? Alright, so it's going to be a full. So this is a file, I'm calling it a parameter file. So instead of writing the commands, all the commands on the command line, I'll just simply okay. So here we are. So I've just created, let me change this file, this full DB. All right. Now, just look at it. In this file, I define these parameters: full, dump file, log file, compression, directory. Okay. And the name of the power file is this. Now, what I can just do is just to run this command: export data pump, and I write power file is equal to, okay. So when I run this, what happens? It simply reads what is inside the parameter file. Okay. So the job is running here. Okay. So instead of writing everything out on the command line, I save it everything in the file. Okay. Now this is very useful because what some people do is to just have a file and they modify it every time they ask them to do a job. They modify that file. They comment some of the parameters, uncomment some. You know what it means to comment? Yes. Yes, not to read it. On with shell on Linux, you put the hashtag. Now let me show you what the hashtag is here. This is the hashtag. You put it before a line, before at the beginning of any line. When you do that, if that line is ignored. Okay, that's what they call commenting. Normally you can use that to make a comment in a script or something. So it's very important you know this stuff here. It's doing the same thing. If I wanted to kill it, it's already finished. See that? So I simply did the same thing by using a parameter file. So I've shown you the diverse options. Okay. Now we have I can do what we call import data pump here. I can change that file, for instance. Or rather, I can create a new one. Wait 1 minute here. Copy this file here. Remap. Open this stuff here. I can write schemas. You know what? Instead of cancelling that, I just comment it, okay? Then I can write schemas equal to dev user 2, dev user 3, okay? Dump file, I can now change this one to something more readable. Okay. Then I can now, sorry, the log file, let me just make it look like that. All right. Compression, no need for that. Now, look at what I'm going to do here. I'm going to now remap schema equal to dev2 now turn to dev4. And dev3 will now turn to dev5. Okay? Do you like it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to create two new schemas here. Now, before I did an export, is it? Now we're going to do an import. All right, here we go. Oops, I made a mistake there. Sorry, I didn't put, I put the wrong name for the export. Sorry, it's supposed to be full DB. Okay, you can't cheat it. You understand? I have to put the name of the. Just put the directory there. Export there. Okay. All right. Why is it not reading that? 1 minute, please, sir. Does that file exist? Let me see. Or did I copy it wrong? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. What happened? How come I got there? Did I kill that job? I didn't kill it. Okay. Full underscore DB. Okay, cut. So directory was export there, okay? Where we get it? Full underscore dir, is it? Schema. Directory job name. Remap. Okay, let's try it on again. Never give up, huh? You hear me?
Yes, sir.
Something wrong. Something wrong with my splitter. Uh-oh. Excuse me. Something is missing here. And we'll get it. Nothing hidden that is not brought to light, is it? Okay. Okay, I understand. I understand. I was in the wrong direction when I was running the command, you know? So it was not seeing. Was not seeing what I was doing. So right now I should see it. PWA. Excuse me. Look at what I was doing. I forgot to, none of you students could tell me what I was doing wrong. I did not put the power file. You know, when you are watching, it's more easier for you to detect errors.
Yeah.
So notice that he has created 2 users, dev 4 and dev 5. Okay. So that will do for now. The next time I'm going to show you how to export over the network using DB links, and also how to export a tablespace and to attach a tablespace using the export data pump utility. So we'll stop here for this time.
Amen.
Thanks.